All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy Football Today Express. It is start or sit for week 1 right now. All right, you know what? I got to get your reaction. I didn't even tell Heath about this. Went through the whole show notes. Didn't even tell him about what we're going to start with. Just give me your quick reaction to Jordan Love with the MCL injury. Could miss 3 to 6 weeks.
I am glad that it's not as bad as it looked like it might be. And I don't currently think we're going to be able to start any Packers wide receivers for the next month.
That is just okay. Well,
it's not like they were must start guys anyways. Like Jaden Reed had a great game, but it was a typical like 5 to 6 target. We still didn't really learn anything about the pecking order in Green Bay. They were always going to be boom bust wide receiver threes.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that more on the Sunday night show. Make sure you stay tuned on youtube.com/fantasyfootball today and in the FFT feed, of course, for our Sunday night episode where we are going to recap all the games except for Sunday Night Football, which will be in progress. So the injury news, it's week 1. We got a lot of injury news. So we talk about the Bengals. You know, Tee Higgins is doubtful, so don't start him. But Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Chase, they haven't made a decision as of right now, 8:05 a.m. Eastern. What do you think about the Bengals passing game against the Patriots?
So, assuming that Chase plays, I've got Joe Burrow at QB 12, just behind Trevor Lawrence, just behind Tua, still ahead of the rookies, still ahead of Purdy. I've got Chase ranked as a top 20 wide receiver. I really can't imagine sitting him if he's active unless we get some report that he's only going to play like 5 snaps or he's just going to go out there for 1 snap and make a point. I don't know. I'm probably going to start Chase if he plays.
Where'd you say you have him ranked?
20.
Okay. So there are definitely scenarios where people could be sitting Jamar Chase. But yeah, I hate this. This is like, these decisions are ridiculous. How are we supposed to know? It's just very difficult here. So
I think that gives you a little bit of freedom. You can let go of the supposed to know. We don't know.
All right, we don't. Right. What about guys like Andre Yoshivas and Mike Gesicki and Jermaine Burton?
I do not have any other Bengals wide receivers in my top 48 wide receivers. Yoshivas would be my favorite. I would rather not. Gesicki is like right around tight end 20. Again, I would rather not.
All right, I just want to say this about Yoshivas. If you had to pick one receiver, it'd be him, right?
For sure. Yep. That's
if you maybe stash him, because if Higgins, it's a hamstring injury that he suffered last week or this week, basically. I don't know how long he's going to be out. So not the worst idea. Yoshivas is 9% rostered. If you're desperate at tight end, maybe this is. I remember with Gesicki when he was with the Dolphins, whenever Devontae Parker would be out, that was the only time he'd be good. So we're not projecting them to be good. We don't know, but maybe take a shot if you want to stash these guys. Right. Not a bad idea. Let me see. They have next week. They have the Chiefs, so that's not great. All right, Christian McCaffrey. Let's talk about the 49ers here. Any hesitation starting Christian McCaffrey?
I'd sure like to find somebody who plays for the Jets or 49ers to have on my bench, but no, we're expecting McCaffrey to play. We're not altering his ranking.
And Brandon Aiyuk could be limited in snaps.
Yeah, I dropped him a little bit because the problem is like a full speed Brandon Aiyuk gets 5 to 6 targets per game, maybe 7. Like if he's going to play 2/3 of the snaps, it might be a 4-target game. And I think the Jets gave up 5 receiving touchdowns last year or something to wide receivers. So
5. You're right. 5 to receivers.
Yeah. So I dropped with another guy we're going to talk about. It's funny. They've been tied to the hip all preseason because we were worried about a trade, but I dropped both Brandon Aiyuk and George Pickens down to wide receiver 30 and 31.
Yeah, we'll talk about Pickens in a second, but would you start guys like Chris Godwin and Christian Kirk over them?
Yep.
Okay.
And Terry McLaurin and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, what about like a Tajay Spears or a Zack Moss or a Chase Brown?
I think in half PPR, it's pretty easy to start the running backs for the Bengals. And full PPR, I'd probably stick with the wide receivers. But I mean, one of those, we don't know who the pass catching back for the Bengals is either. One of them might catch more passes than Aiyuk and Pickens.
Right. Okay. So then let's talk about the Steelers and their passing game, because the latest report was that Justin Fields is more likely to start than Russell Wilson. This is a 1:00 game, so that's a good thing. But how are we viewing how are we viewing Justin Fields? Like, are you going to start Justin Fields over Joe Burrow? Someone asked me, should I start Justin Fields over Dak Prescott? I said, it's not, I like Justin Fields. It's not the ideal circumstances for him to come in, without really practicing with the first team as much. And, it's not like he's the starter. So I don't know. I don't want to necessarily throw him in there, but where are you ranking Justin Fields if he plays?
He is 17th for me right now. I've moved him he's ahead of Purdy. He's ahead of my favorite streamers, Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith, ahead of Deshaun Watson, ahead of Kirk Cousins, ahead of Aaron Rodgers, ahead of Justin Herbert. Still behind the rookies, still behind Dak, still behind Burrow for me.
Okay. Real quick. DJ Chark is on IR. Any thoughts on the Chargers receivers?
It's still both Ladd and Palmer just at the very bottom of my top 48 wide receivers. Would rather see it 1 week. Quentin Johnston has a little bit of life again, but it's more of a hope than a plan.
Someone asked in the chat, Brandon Aiyuk or Josh Palmer?
Aiyuk.
Okay, well, we'll read some chat questions in a moment. Tyler Lockett and Noah Fant are going to play. Keenan Allen is expected to play. And DeAndre Hopkins is going to play. Would you trust Keenan Allen or DeAndre Hopkins this week?
I feel a little better about Allen than I do Hopkins. Like that, the Hopkins reports have been pretty scary. He's got a torn MCL. He's trying to play through it. It's a pain tolerance thing. They're not sure how much he's going to be able to play today. I am moving DeAndre Hopkins right now behind both Josh Palmer and Ladd McConkey.
Okay, and Antonio Gibson is expected to play for the Patriots. Let's read some questions here from the chat. Raheem Mostert or Zack Moss?
Still Mostert for me.
PPR League, George Pickens, Curtis Samuel, Brandon Cooks.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's Debo because Debo is kind of easy, right? Debo.
If it's Debo, I'd definitely start him. If it's Pickens versus Curtis Samuel, Brandon Cooks, or Jalen Polk, I'm not that worried about Justin Fields.
Goff or Kyler Murray?
Goff.
Okay, pick one in PPR. Chuba Hubbard, Rashid Shaheed, or Curtis Samuel?
I love Chuba Hubbard and Jerome Ford this week. Start them both.
Bills receivers, please.
I'd rather not. I moved Aiyuk and Pickens down. I'd still rather start those guys over any Bills receiver. If I had to start one, it'd be Khalil Shakir. But again, kind of a group. I'd start the Chargers over Keon Coleman. I'd start Darnell Mooney over him.
Javonte Williams or JSN? PPR.
Javonte.
Ladd McConkey or Brian Robinson? PPR.
Robinson.
Yeah, so the Robinson did get some good news. I mean, they still have Vita Vea playing today, but two starters on the defensive line are out. Or two, if not two starters, two key players on the defensive line are out for the Bucs. One of them being Kalijah Cansey, second-year defensive tackle. Dak, Stafford, or Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor.
Richardson or Murray?
Oof. I actually got to look. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It is Kyler. They're back to back at 7 and 8.
Keenan Allen or Rashid Shaheed?
I think I'm probably going to go Allen in full PPR, Shaheed, and everything else.
All right, one or two more here. Who do I start? Moss, Dell, Addison, Odunze, or Samuel? Oh, Dell.
Again, if it's Debo, it's him. If not, it's Dell.
Yeah, start Debo Samuel. I mean, I could see people being concerned because it's the Jets, but Debo is a starter. Zamir White or Raheem Mostert? Last one.
White. Thank
you, everybody, for your questions and your time this morning. Check us out on Twitter. We'll be doing some Ask FFT, and we'll see you at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. YouTube.com/fantasyfootball today. 11:30 a.m. Eastern until kickoff. YouTube.com/fantasyfootball today. We'll be answering your questions. Have a good one.